Welcome back to Wealth Be Hers podcast. I am your host, Dr. Felecia Froe. Remember, we are sponsored by Money with Mission, whose vision is that every woman have the financial ability to walk away from any job or relationship that is not in her best interest. To that end, we have many different types of guests talking about money, their money story, financial literacy. We recently had Ben Glass on talking about disability insurance. So we're kind of covering all aspects of money so that you can make the best decisions and have options in how you manage your money and just kind of just open your mind into how things work. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so either on the podcast, Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening. Hit that subscribe button. And if you're on YouTube, I would love it if you would follow us. It makes me warm to know that people are paying attention. Let's see. Oh, we are also having our very first Wealth Be Hers retreat in Dominica in March 25th through 29th, 2026. It's going to be a small group, hand-picked group of women who can come together and just talk. I want us to be together, have fun, get to know each other, be able to talk about money, our finances, our financial story, our money story, what we're scared of, what we are looking forward to, all the things in a very, very relaxed atmosphere. No courtrooms, no lecture halls, none of that. This is around the pool, at dinner, having conversations, on hikes, very relaxed so that we can really get to know each other and have a place where we can feel safe talking about money. Go to moneywithmission.com, look under events for that Wealth Be Hers retreat. If that's of any interest to you, you'll get on a call with me. We'll make sure it's the right fit and go from there. All right. By the way, our discounted price is gone at the end of November. So if you want to get in there for, I think it's $1,000 off, might be $1,500 off, you might want to go ahead and do that before the end of the month. All right. Today we have Michelle Campbell. Michelle's a passionate advocate for social change, personal transformation, and financial literacy. She's the founder of the social services nonprofit #Stability, which focuses on supporting individuals facing homelessness through critical resources and financial education. She was born and raised in Omaha, Nebraska, and began her educational journey in South Dakota before relocating to Atlanta, Georgia, to continue her studies. During her academic pursuits, she launched a real estate investment firm, marking the beginning of her entrepreneurial path. Over the years, she's expanded her ventures into various industries, including horticulture, where she founded an interior-scape company, and logistics, where she established a commercial trucking business. Michelle's got some skills. Drawing on the insights and expertise gained across these diverse fields, she transitioned into a career in the financial services industry. She's the author of Bluebird, a memoir that candidly expresses themes of trauma, heartbreak, and the resilience found in life struggles. She's also the founder of the nonprofit organization mentioned before, #Stability, dedicated to empowering individuals through financial literacy and fostering economic stability. I love it all. Welcome to the show, Michelle. Okay, you guys, we are back, and I have Michelle Campbell as promised. Welcome to the show, Michelle. It's good to see you.
Thank you so much for having me. I am so excited about our conversation. I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but I'm ready for anything. Bring it on.
You know, Michelle, I'm not even sure how it's going to go. We start and then we just talk like we're sitting like a couple women over some coffee, just getting to know each other, and everybody else gets to listen in. So that's how we roll around here. That's how I roll. So my one question that I tend to start all our conversations with is, tell us your money story. How did you start thinking about money? How do you think about money now? And if you want to go through how that transition happened, that'd be great. I know you've got a great story.
So I had this whirlwind of a journey just in this constant cycle of debt. And a lot of it didn't come it didn't make sense to me until I was at my rock bottom. And that's kind of when we have our breakthrough moments. But I mean, I'm talking about 5 evictions and 4 repossessions, 3 bankruptcies, and $500,000 in debt. If we're just talking about the financial side of things.
What age range is this all going on?
This is from age like 18 to about 36, 37. And so, but I'm just going through life. Towards the end, I know that I wasn't being reckless. I was very disciplined, I was following my budget. I knew what was coming in, what was going out. I lowered my personal standard of living. But I mean, all these things just kept happening. And I'm like, but like, what am I doing? What am I supposed to be getting from this? And so the morning of my fourth repossession, I was just like, I mean, something has to stop. Like, this is not cute anymore. And I mean, I don't even know what I'm doing wrong. And where do I go for help? How do I figure this out? And so I put myself on a fast and it grounded me just so that I could pay attention. But I started making a timeline of from start to current to how did I get here? What were the different things that I think contributed to this constant cycle of debt? And then I turned around and started attaching emotions to them because I'm just naturally somebody that likes to understand the whole picture of something, not just little snippets. And from there, I realized that what I needed to fix, when a lot of people refer to financial literacy, they're only thinking about what I call the technical side, which is, investing and the different types of investing and investment strategies and investment tolerance. But there's a whole nother side that we never talk about, and it's that personal side. And so on that personal side, I needed to fix my relationship with money. And it just blew my mind that once I was able to identify what that was and see how it was connected to my spending, whether it was responsible or recklessness, and to all of the mistakes and challenges that I had in my life, that answered a lot of questions to then help me form a healthy financial foundation to then be on the road to becoming financially literate. And I just needed to share this with the world because I don't know if a lot of people are aware or have even looked at it in that perspective.
Thank you. That was a lot. Okay. It's really good. So you started talking about at age 18, you're starting, that's when your financial problems, as far as you can trace them back, start. But you had a money story before 18. When you actually reflected back, when you started looking at how is this happening, put the emotion to it, how did you get to 18 to lead the life you led up to 36, 37?
Like, how did it start at 18?
No. What did you know about money or think about money or before age 18? What did you hear about money? Or do you know what I mean? In your family,
Right.
you guys talk about money at all? Were your parents in debt? Did they do really well? What did you learn?
So I really didn't have any connection to money as far as age 18. What I did have was a divorced single mother who I saw do everything by any means necessary to not have to depend on anybody. If she needed extra money, she went and got an extra job. I still coupon today because she taught me couponing. I remember we did that every Sunday after church. And,
Okay.
she used to walk me through her budget. We would go to the grocery store and, she'd be like, we have $70. And if there was something extra that I wanted, she would show me how that was off budget.
Okay.
Very, very strict and very responsible in
Okay.
my mind. But that's not all I inherited. It's almost like I also inherited this energy of lack and not having enough because I definitely remember growing up and because, I had a single parent that I couldn't have some things that some of my classmates had. I couldn't do some
Mhm.
things. And so that became, of course, like a desire that I don't know that I realized back then, but
Right.
I definitely see it now.
Yeah. And that may have led to some of the decisions you made from 18 to 36, trying to figure out, trying to have things that you couldn't or shouldn't have at the moment. You know what I mean?
Well, so for me, when I thought about that moment at 18 and when this whole cycle started, and when I attached the emotion to it, it wasn't that part. I attached that to little 4-year-old first day of preschool, Michelle, who couldn't make a friend on the first day of preschool, was not accepted, didn't have a sense of belonging. It ruined my self esteem. And so all of my money choices were because of her, not really, what I was observing around me. But when I noticed my spending, I was spending to attain friends. I was spending to impress someone. I was spending trying to act like I had it and not this lack that was carrying me along or that was following me.
That's huge. So it
Mhm.
wasn't directly related to money,
Right.
why you were doing it. The money was gaining you something.
Right.
I'm going to spend money because it makes me feel better. I'm going to spend money because this way I can have friends. That's huge. And I think that I have some of that too. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there.
Well, I mean, I know that we all have, and even if we're not talking about money, the emotional relationship that you have, no matter what the topic is actually more important than what the behavior is what I found. And so we all have a relationship, a emotional relationship with money. We all have an emotional relationship that kind of dictates our relationships. We all have one with food. And so mine, was yes, to gain this acceptance and find this sense of belonging and kind of fit in. I never felt like I had a tribe, never, could make a friend. And so I was using money to be able to find whoever my tribe is instead of doing the work of just trying to figure out who I am and stop living for other people. But it could totally be, the opposite, where I really feel like everyone had some kind of defining moment in their life. And that person inside is the one that is actually you're fighting for, and that gets scared and intimidated and anxious and whatever the emotion is behind anything. And so
Mhm.
for me, I was able to, like I said, connect that to that first day of preschool, 4 years old, that I didn't even know was that traumatic for me. But
Right.
clearly it was. I
Yeah.
remember it happening like it was yesterday. But, if you go home and, how was your first day of school? Oh, I didn't make a friend. And you have somebody that kind of dismisses the emotion, not realizing how hard that
Yeah.
was for you. And then
Yeah.
so it never gets healed because it never got validated. That's how that happened.
That's amazing. I got some thinking to do on that one. Okay. So how did understanding that, because you went to college, you've done all these things, were you doing tax stuff at that point? Or
At By the
when
time
you
I was
heard?
at the breakthrough,
Mhm.
yes, I was working in finance then. And what's so funny is, no matter still, I mean, I have huge imposter syndrome. It's like no matter how many certifications and credentials, like I'm still like, really, I'm this person teaching this. You know what you know, but always like in the back of my mind, I'm like, like I just am I really qualified? But so, I mean, I felt like a fraud in a lot of ways because, like, yes, I can tell you what to do. I mean, it'd be no different than a trainer that goes home and eats donuts, a personal trainer. I mean, we all, just because we are an expert in the field doesn't actually mean that we're living our life correctly. But I was trying to get on board with that. But after making that timeline, I realized that up to that point, and even before specializing in financial services, that all the other businesses that I created, because I couldn't afford to hire an attorney and an accountant and a CPA. Like I didn't have all these specialists in my life. I was self-educating myself first to run my businesses. And so
Okay.
actually that put me so far ahead where when it all came together, I'm like, well, I do have everything that I need to know what I'm talking about and to help guide and direct other people.
I'm going to the imposter syndrome because
Mhm.
I think that's a very common thing. And if we don't actually always admit, somebody's going to find out I really don't know as much as I act like I know. And for me, I have a scarcity mindset, and I talk about scarcity mindset when it comes to money all the time. Number one, I'm happy that I realize I have it. Number two, realize when it's kicking in, maybe a 2 day or two after it's already been running around in my head for a little while. But the biggest thing to me, for people to know it, at least for me, is it doesn't go away. It's still
No,
there, and I have to just realize it's there, realize what's happening, and function away from it. Manipulate, do what I have to do to get out of that mindset. And
right.
a lot of people I talk to have scarcity mindset. And, there was a time I thought, okay, I can figure this out and make it go away. And now I'm at the point, it's like, oh, yeah, it never goes away. Just like working out. You don't get to work out one time or get to your weight and your strength and then you can stop. No, unfortunately, you got to keep on doing it.
Right, absolutely. I just finished saying that was that I have to check myself constantly. For instance, Christmas is right around the corner. And so I am literally having a me, myself, and I conversation with myself saying, okay, these are the people that you want to put on the list. This is what you want to buy. Do you want to buy it to impress them? Are you buying it to actually because this is what you want to get them? Is it for more acceptance because you don't feel like it's enough? Is it, what is the
Yeah.
emotion behind this? And some of these people, why are you even getting them a gift? Are they that important? Or do you feel obligated? Because, you get invited to parties and stuff and you
Yeah.
for one to
Yeah.
be the one. But, that doesn't mean that you need to trump everybody else's gift that's coming. I mean, if it's not in your budget, but I mean, I have to all the time, I have to check myself. Why am I spending this money? Why am I doing this? What is the emotion behind this? Because that is exactly what has gotten me in trouble.
Okay. I want everybody to really pay attention to what is the emotion behind the money spend. What am I looking to achieve with this? And that's a
Mhm.
conversation I have with clients. Like, what are you looking to achieve? And there's emotion behind it. There always is. You keep going to the why, 7 layers down, why, or however many layers you can get. And there's emotion there. And you
Mhm.
want to just make sure it's aligned, that what you're looking to do with your money is aligned with that emotion so that things fall into place. It just becomes a mess when you're not doing it that way. So I
Right.
really appreciate that. It's really
Right. And also on your level, like that's one thing that I've had to check because my level has changed over the years. There were times that I had probably too much money and that, did not help my me being irresponsible with money. And then there's times that I'm like, why was I flying to New York for a $2,000 weave? Like, I wish I had that $2,000 now. And so, on my level now, I'm like, I didn't even really want the weave, but it was the thing that was in. I felt like it was going to gain me acceptance. It was going to make me pretty. It was going to make me attractive. And that's why I was doing that. And
Mhm.
so, I mean, you constantly, so on your level. So now I'm like, that's the way that I'm saving money. Where, if it's an important event or something to me, fine, go get your hair done because you're gonna walk a red carpet. But day to day, no, I don't need that expensive weekly hairstyle because I actually don't want that. I don't need that. It's different for everybody.
Yes.
And so your levels change. And when you can't afford it, that's how you can find some savings and the things that you think that you can't live without. Well, what is it? And do you want it for the right reasons? Do you want it for you or do you want it for something else?
That's amazing. That's really good. So financial literacy is a big thing. Like,
Mhm.
do you feel like you were financially literate at 18?
No, I was not
Now that you
financially
look back, I
literate.
bet at 18 you thought you were
No,
financially literate, but now that you look back,
no, I knew I wasn't.
financial literacy for us. So I think you have a little different definition than because you talked about the many, it's just the technical. Define what it is to
Right.
you, just so we have that out.
So to me, financial literacy has two sides. And first, I really feel like to be financially stable is everybody in the world's foundation. Everybody, because we need money to survive. It's not about being rich, it's not about how much you have or how much you're making and being a millionaire, a billionaire, or anything. It is just about being able to live the life that you want to live comfortably. And so to part of financial literacy and creating that stability, I feel like has two sides. And so the first side is that personal side that everybody has. You can't dismiss this. And if you skip the personal side, good luck with the technical side because then they're going to fight. It's like you're putting the
Yeah.
cart before the hearse. And so on the personal side, you just have to first look at yourself and face what you have. And for me, that looked like opening years and years worth of mail that I just, recklessly did not open because I was trying to survive. I was trying to avoid another eviction, another repossession. I was trying to keep my utilities from being cut off. So a credit card that was already maxed out, that was going to collections, I'm sorry, I didn't have the money to pay it. And so I opened all that mail, made a spreadsheet just to see what I was dealing with, whether it was still current or not.
Okay.
And after that, then that's when I started making the timeline to connect the pieces. Like, when did all of this start? How did I, accumulate all of this debt? And then I attached the emotions and the doing the three of those helped me see, okay, this is why you spend money. This is how you got in debt. So then I knew the behaviors that I needed to change once I then did what I call finding your numbers or knowing your numbers. And so that is creating a budget. You need a budget whether you make $10,000 a year or $10 million a year. Finding out what your credit score is and knowing your core numbers, like how much interest are you paying on your mortgage? What's the interest rate on your credit cards if you're not paying them off every month? How much is your savings growing if you have savings? Just knowing your numbers, knowing where those stand. And those tools, those core tools that have everything to do with you, then you can take over to the technical side, which is investments and the different types of investments and learning your investment tolerance and different investment strategies and so on and so forth. But I don't feel like you can succeed at the technical side before addressing the personal side.
I agree. You can't start investing until you know where you are. And that
Right,
knowing where you're starting from is taking a good hard look at all those things.
right.
Where am I, I'm a fan of getting rid of your credit card debt. And I'm gonna throw out there, I got plenty of credit card debt, y'all.
But yeah, it's
Think
not
about it
too
all the time. I got to get rid of it. It's
right.
coming. So financial literacy, when you said about the personal, I just want to make sure people understand that. By
Mhm.
personal, you mean what you actually have, don't have, where you are financially right now. What do I have right now?
Right, your stuff.
My stuff. And then looking at where do I want to go?
Mhm.
And there's a million vehicles to get you from where you are to where you want to go.
Right,
That's not the hard part to get there. It's
right.
figuring out where you are and then where do you want to go, and then you'll get into conversations about how to get there. Does that sum it up?
Yes, but for instance, like I'll speak with someone that says, well, I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I don't have any money to invest. Or I'm so far in debt, like I just, there's no way I can think about investing. Okay, but we need to do the personal side and know your stuff first. So, how much debt do you have? How
Yeah.
much legitimately is yours? That's what I'm saying. Check those credit reports. I mean, some of it may not be yours. And, what can you negotiate down? What can you do with what you have, with just your stuff? Make that budget and know what you have coming in and what your absolutes are that you have to pay for. We all need shelter, transportation, food, and utilities. Then you can know if you have the debt that needs to be paid down, you know how much you have to throw at it. If you don't
Yeah.
have a problem with debt, you see how much you have to invest, but you have to do the personal side first. You have to.
So important. And I remember the scary time of doing what you did, opening all that mail.
Mhm.
It's your heart's pounding. You're like, oh my gosh, how could it be this bad?
Right.
And then you don't die. It's just
I
like,
mean,
it's just paper with numbers on it. And it's
I,
scary. And if you can feel bad about yourself for having gotten there, and then you feel good about yourself for finally I looked,
mhm.
okay, and now what am I gonna do?
Yeah. I literally like so I mean, I love a spreadsheet. I am so organized. I mean, I make a spread every time Thanksgiving's coming up, I have a little, at this time this is happening. This time to make all the food and everything. Like I'm just stupid organized like that. But so I made a spreadsheet, like I can pop one out like none other. And I'm calling places. And I'm like, I'm calling, I want to make, I want to find out, how much interest has accrued on this. I want to pay. And I literally had like creditors. First, they're telling me, oh, well, we sold it to this person. We sold it to this person. And I finally get to the last person. They're like, we wrote this off as a bad debt like 15 years ago. And they're like laughing at me. And I'm like, well, I mean, I never meant to not pay you. I just couldn't pay then. But
Mhm.
now I wanted to make good on it and at least, make an effort to make good on it. And it was just when I was telling another person about this, they're like, well, why, if it wasn't on your credit report, why did you even, call and try to do anything? And I'm like, because I never meant to not pay.
Yeah.
That's how honest I wanted to be.
Sure.
Look, I couldn't pay then. I can pay now. What can we do? So that 500,000 was accumulated over a 21-year period, but I only ended up paying like around 100,000 after it was all said and done. But I wanted to be honest with myself and know exactly how much was accumulated, how much I was accountable for.
Okay. And when you saw your credit score at that point, how did you feel about yourself? What did that do?
Yeah, so this is funny and true story, and I have screenshots because I was like, I'm going to be talking about this and nobody's ever going to believe me. So back when all three bankruptcies were on my credit report, I mean, I had gotten into the habit of I'm just not checking my credit report because I already know, they already told me they were going to staple some more pages onto it and, whatever. I know I don't qualify for anything. I'm not even trying to get any more credit or anything. I need to pay what I have. But there was a time after everything started normalizing, but all three bankruptcies were still on my credit report. I had a 700 score.
Oh,
And
wow.
no, I know that that's not great, but I didn't have a 700 score ever in life before then. It was like a 530. And so, I was just like, look at God, because I said, this wasn't supposed to hurt me at all.
Yeah.
Nowhere in America does somebody have three bankruptcies that aren't discharged, from their credit report and have a 700 score. Nowhere. It wasn't supposed to hurt me. I was supposed to get the lesson that I got and wanting to, give back to the world around me in financial literacy. And yeah, this is just the path that I had to take. And filing those three bankruptcies, I only did it to keep a car. My
Mm,
attorney was so upset with me because he's like, "You don't even have enough debt to declare bankruptcy. Don't do this. It's going to mess your credit up." And I was like, "There's no other way for me to keep my car." And because I kept defaulting on it because the car kept breaking down. So it's like,
okay.
do you pay for the car repair so
Did you
that you
pay
can
your
keep driving the car so that you can earn money so that you can pay the bankruptcy payment? Or do you make the bankruptcy payment and not have a car to earn money in? Which one comes first? Which one is more important? So I kept defaulting, and that's how it ended up being three bankruptcies, not because of all of the debt.
because you kept increasing? Was it because you kept increasing your debt? Got it.
Yeah, yeah.
Got it. That's a
No.
lot. I had a credit score in the 500s after, as a physician, after I lost in 2008, 2009, 500.
Mhm,
And it was just, I knew enough to not be too scared about it. But
mhm.
it's a story, it's a hit to your self-esteem. When we're going to talk
Yeah.
about money and self-esteem and how self-worth and all those kinds of things, which I wish we could separate, but we don't. It was a thing. And I had to buy a car and I had to
Mhm.
pay 16% interest for my car. I'm like, well, this is what I got to do because I got to go to work. And,
Right.
it was just a whole thing. Then within a year or two, it was back to 700, 800, whatever.
Yeah.
It's a matter of facing it,
Mhm.
dealing with it, and not letting that define you. But a
Right.
lot of times we do let it define us, and that's where you start letting it affect your mental health, your
Mhm.
self-worth. And that's one of the things you really talk about, especially in your nonprofit, hashtag stabilize.
Hashtag stability. Right.
Stability, I'm sorry,
Right.
hashtag
Nope.
stability in helping people with financial literacy. Is that right?
Correct. We empower through financial literacy. I just want, first of all, that for everyone to know that you're not alone,
Yeah.
because that was the biggest part of me going through that constant cycle of debt is I felt alone because we don't talk about finances with even the people that we trust. We don't talk to
We don't
them.
talk about
We're going to lunch with girlfriends saying, "So what's your credit score?"
it.
But we should be. And
Yes.
so, all of this was hidden, that I'm facing an eviction, hidden. Nobody knows that my account's overdrawn and I'm out at lunch with friends, hoping that it doesn't get declined in front of everybody. Hidden, that my car is about to get driven off in the middle of the night and all my neighbors are going to know. Hidden. And so, there was no release, and it made me extremely depressed at times because there was no release of the emotion or no one to talk to. And it's a very isolating, alone, feeling. I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, but actually, it shouldn't be. We should be having these conversations with the people that we trust and not, get rid of that shame and embarrassment because I decided that we don't even own those emotions. Like somebody said, apparently in your life that having a 500 credit score is bad. And so now you think that it's bad. And that's why you're ashamed. If no one ever said it was bad, you wouldn't think that.
Right. No, exactly. And one of the things that I really, really push is talking about money. Whether you have debt, repossessions, evictions, or use like, I have no idea what to invest in,
Right.
having that conversation and not like I have plenty of money, the show we like to have and show off.
Right.
And it's not even necessarily showing off, but you want everybody to know, especially the A personality people, the smartest people in the room and their position and their profession, doctors, lawyers, all these
Mhm.
people, folks. We all know what we know.
Right.
And then everybody thinks we should be at the top of our game
Right. It's
with
not
that thing. And, you know, I talk to too many people who don't know anything about money, who are making a lot of it,
right.
to think that it's not just a poor person or a person who doesn't have money that doesn't know about money.
Mhm.
So I'm going to put a little plug in here for our retreat coming up that where we're a
Okay.
small group of women, and that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to get to know each other and we're going to feel comfortable talking about money.
Awesome.
That's my quick little thing. But
Yeah.
it's important. And just like you said, even if it's not talking about your credit, like what do you guys talk about investing all the time? What do you guys,
Mhm.
what's your thing? How are you doing in the market?
Right.
Whatever thing they're talking about. And women don't. We talk about the kids, the
Right.
dress, the whatever. And just, I want us to talk about money.
Right.
Talk to
I
your
just
kids about it.
want
Talk to,
everything around finance to be more of a natural conversation that we have with the people that we trust. I should have been able to tell somebody, look, I'm having to file bankruptcy to keep a car. Maybe somebody would have known somebody that, could have helped me refinance my loan or who
yeah,
knows, I
yeah,
could have
yeah,
instead of going through the bankruptcy or telling somebody, look, like, being self-employed is hard. I mean, I know that Our
Yeah.
income is not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so, we have like what in a dream world will we want to be making a month? And then, it depends on who pays their invoices. So,
Yeah.
find yourself coming up short. But what if before the evictions, I would have been honest with the people that I trusted around me and said, like, look, this is happening, not necessarily to borrow money, but maybe just you don't know the options that you have out there and resources that might be able to help you if you don't talk to people. I
Exactly.
mean, I pride myself on being a wealth of information because I talk to everybody. And so, like, if you bring a problem to me, I probably have a solution for you.
And for me, it's like I know enough people that if I don't know, I know somebody who does
Mhm.
know, or somebody who does know somebody who does know. So it's not necessarily about bringing your problem so that somebody can solve it for you or fix it
Right,
for you right this moment. It's like, oh, did you ever think about this?
right.
About that? Like what?
Mhm.
And your people that you trust are not to beat you up. And if you have a person
Mhm.
to talk to about your financial difficulties and they start beating you up, that should be the last time you ever talk to them about your financial anything because they're not the person for you.
Exactly.
This is really good. You wrote a book called Bluebird.
Mhm.
Tell me
Correct.
about that book.
Sure. Bluebird is the story behind my cause, my motivation to actually do hashtag stability on a larger level. I had started hashtag stability back in, 2017, and I was at the end of going through it. I wasn't doing horrible, but I was not living my best life and I was still, like on shaky ground. But at that time, I just started seeing things in the world around me and in society that I didn't think were fair. I'm thinking, where are the resources for somebody that works and maybe has, a second job? If they're not sick, they don't have any addictions, they're not a vet, they're not social security retirement age, maybe they don't even have a child. Where are the resources for those kind of people that just kind of need a hand up for a couple months, not forever, not for, even a year, maybe like just, some breathing room and maybe some tools, some
Yeah.
education to get them out of this. And I just wasn't finding that. It was like denied, 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 everything I tried to do. And it let me know that, people around me would say, oh, there's tons of organizations out there that help you. There's no reason for you to be struggling. And I'm like, okay, where do you live? Because, either you don't have any financial problems and I need to figure out what you're doing, or you're not being honest with me about it, or you're on that level where yes, you qualify for those resources. So I took it upon myself to, if you can't do the change, be the change, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I just started on my own going out and helping random strangers. Like, I would see something on social media and I would show up like this white knight and come and save the day. And people were like, who are you? And I'm like, I'm happy to be able to help you. I can relate to what you're going through. And I don't have enough to help you more, but I could help you, with this.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then I just decided that I think that that's like that hidden demographic, the people that were just like me. And so I said, one day I would like to do this on a larger scale. And then lo and behold, I had a rock bottom moment that led to a breakthrough, that led to me needing to tell the story, that then led to actually getting a published deal. And I was like, okay, well, here's the platform. Maybe I should, because we need that education and we need those resources. And so right now, because I'm having to listen to a board, before I was running the show. And now we got to get votes and everything, and we got to get zoning, and, like it's annoying, but I need those people. That's the expertise I didn't have. But
Yeah.
all of our resources are free, and things are going to roll out gradually, even grants for people that qualify at some level. But it's really just an educational resource at this time.
Okay. And I don't want to say just an educational resource because that's a big thing.
Right,
Education is the foundation of almost everything. And
right,
I'm not even talking about formal education. I'm talking
mhm,
about the education that really helps you in life.
right.
And that's that street stuff that we
Mhm,
learn sometimes the hard way, sometimes somebody comes and helps you. The networking has been a
mhm,
thing that I had to learn that the more people you know, the
mhm,
more people you have that can help you understand something. And you cannot
right.
be afraid to reach out to those people to understand. And It's not you asking them to give you something. It's just explain it to me. Help me to understand
Right.
this so that I can move forward. And then you never know where those things are going to go.
Right.
There's taking me some really amazing places and met some very amazing people
Mhm.
just by putting yourself out there.
And
That's
you know what I realized too? People like to help people.
they 100% do.
And so as much as you may be intimidated to go and ask somebody for help, actually they would be open arms, willing to help you, willing to introduce you to somebody, willing to, whatever it is,
Yeah.
and not see anything wrong with it. Not, feel like you're putting them out or, oh, I don't feel like doing it. I love it when I can introduce somebody. Like I think that I'm like naturally a creator of people. If I wasn't doing what I'm doing, I'd probably be a good matchmaker because there have been some people that I've connected and I actually got booted out of the relationship, but they're still cool. Like, and I'm like, see, I knew that you guys would hit it off.
That's good. Yes. That the Yes, connections
Mhm,
are the most
mhm.
important thing, and then you're not alone, or you don't have to be alone if you feel like you are. You 100% are not the first person to go through whatever you're going through in any whatever it is.
Right.
I would bet
Right.
a
But
million
you feel
dollars.
like it. You
It's
feel like
100% you feel
yeah.
like it.
Yeah.
100% you feel like it. And you feel down. And you talked a little bit about mental health and financial literacy. And then
Mhm,
we talk also about social justice and financial literacy and financial conversation. All these things really tie together
mhm.
with money and understanding money. And if we had better conversations with each other,
Right.
how much would everything change? I was also going to talk about how, as divided as our country feels like it is right now,
Mhm.
people still want to help each other.
That's true. And even with that division, I feel like this is the one thing that we all have in common.
Yes.
Money. We
Yes.
all do. Every background, every age group, every nationality, everybody. I mean, because we all need it to survive. And so why aren't we talking about it?
Why
And
aren't we
I'm
talking?
not saying ask people how much they make, but just to, the people that you trust, almost like if they had the flu, you'd be calling and you'd be checking on them to see how they're doing. How financially healthy are you? Are you
Right.
okay? I don't want you to feel bad and go max out your credit card to go to lunch with me if you really can't afford it. Let's just be honest about this.
Yeah. And 100% the people you trust, because
Mhm.
don't put your stuff out there with people that you
No.
know. I mean, and it's not going to take you long to figure out whether you can trust somebody or not when you give
Right.
them a tidbit of your financial information.
Mhm,
Definitely, definitely, definitely needs to be a trusting relationship. And that's the scary part for most people,
mhm,
especially when it comes to talking about money, because it's been such a thing that is so taboo. I say people talk about sex way easier than they talk about
mhm.
money. And
Right.
sex is a much more personal thing. Yes, everybody does it, has it. Everybody has money too, but how come we don't talk about it in the same way? And it's just we have to be able to do it. And that's just the bottom line. For us to all advance, we have
Mhm.
to be able to talk about it, because I guarantee you Michelle knows something about money and how to manage money that I don't know. And I'm 100% that I'm not, you guys know I'm not a spreadsheet person. The logistics is not I need a Michelle on my team who can do the spreadsheet stuff, the logistics. I'm crazy all over the place. I got the idea, and somebody help me figure out how to make it happen.
Mm.
That's me.
Yeah.
And
But I
it's
mean, that's how we fit into each other's lives. Everybody has their strengths for a reason. And, there are, left brain people, right brain people, introverted, extroverted. I mean, we're not supposed to be jack of all trade people. And you need a network around you, even if it's just family. I'm not even talking about professionally, just
yeah,
your tribe, your people
yep.
that you can go to. And we should be having these conversations. And when we're talking about like the social justice part of it, I see where there's movement in like big corporations that are trying to, almost, okay, like educate. We have these tools and these resources. My organization just got approved through the FDIC to share their curriculum, which I was very excited about because before that, we're creating our own. And I'm like, this is
Mhm.
taking too long. This is, like I could tell somebody faster than putting it in a presentation form and a video. And, if this is, I want it to be professional, is going out to the public. But, that's huge. But how many people knew that the FDIC even had
Yep.
financial literacy resources? Actually, you can't just individually sign up, but if you come in under an organization, it's there for you. And so that's what we're offering. first, in my research and finding out that the FDIC had these programs, I was just like, wow, I don't even know how I ended up on the site. I think it was because I was trying to apply for a grant and then ran into these financial literacy
Okay.
resources, then saw that I could sign my organization up. And I'm thinking, oh, wow, this is a win win. But then I'm thinking about how I didn't know this with 20 years of experience in financial services and how other people that I know didn't know this. And
Yeah.
so I'm thinking, well, who knows? It like puts us in this who's who, of who knows what and where the information, not that is routed to, but like just that it's known to. And I guess you don't know what you don't know. And that's why we do need to network and talk to each other. But so that's where I'm saying there are organizations out there that have programs and, they're advocates for financial literacy, but it's not in our face where it feels like it's being offered just openly where we
Yeah.
would know about it.
Yeah. Hmm. That's so, yeah. Interesting. Interesting.
Mhm.
So who do you serve or who are you looking to serve in your with the nonprofit, the hashtag stabilize?
So, hashtag stability.
Yeah.
You're okay. I mean, we are stabilizing your financial foundation. So, I mean, it still goes in, but
Hashtag stability. I'm going to say it four
hashtag
times. Hashtag
financial
stability. Hashtag
stability.
stability.
Right.
Hashtag stability.
So to me, the immediate demographic, first of all, it's for everybody. And, we're even including children in this because financial literacy courses should have been offered as soon as we could count money. We were
Yeah.
all given a piggy bank and not told what to do with it. We're saving for stupid stuff. We're saving because we want to get ice cream when the truck drives down the street or
Yeah.
some toy that we probably don't even have now.
Don't even know what it
You
is.
know,
Exactly. Yep.
exactly. Like, but I want to teach kids. I like to talk to kids because I feel like that's where you can plant the seed early and they'll remember things. They have the most brilliant minds. I don't remember
Agree.
being that smart as a child. But
Yeah.
so hashtag stability is for everybody, but the main demographic that it was founded upon is the working class. And I
Okay.
know that there's not a lot of people that say, so what do you think the most impoverished society is or area is or who's underserved? And they don't want to hear my response when I'm saying the working class. But it's because the working class are the ones that society feel like, oh, they're okay. They have a
Yeah.
job, they have a house, they have a car, they're all right. They don't need any help. And I feel like it couldn't be more untrue because we're the ones that if something happens, where do you go? Where do you
Yeah.
go for help? What if you don't have the credit to get a loan? What if you don't have, the resources? Like where do you go for help? And I'm happy that I got to experience that so that
Mm.
it would stand out for me and see that this is like a lost or hidden demographic that no one talks about. We all know the people that are dealing with homelessness or, just, housing insecure, food insecure. Like we
Yeah.
know all of that. And
Yes.
yes, they need help. I want to help them too.
100%.
And then, of course, vets and retirees, we want to help them too. But what about everybody else that you think is okay?
Yeah. Yes. 100%. I had a person in my office the other day crying about $100 medical bill.
See?
And they were working people,
Mhm.
$100.
Yeah.
The statistic is, I don't know how many, what percentage of the American population are working people could not tolerate a $400, $500 expense they didn't expect.
Right.
And
And that's sad.
that's very sad.
Mhm.
And your company can help people be able to navigate that kind of thing.
Yes, there are several departments that I created. And like I said, like now that I have people that I have to answer to, like everything is like slowly rolling out. But I want to first address the mental health because I know firsthand that being evicted and having your stuff on the curb and you have nowhere to go, you kind of, money to find you somewhere to go. Yeah, that's important. But what you're going through emotionally is way deeper. I remember how traumatic my very first eviction was. And I was so numb emotionally from it, just trying to figure out what I was going to do and get through it, that it wasn't until years later that it was like a year and a half later when I finally found a place to live and I'm unpacking my stuff that was in storage all this time, that's when the tears came because I'm like, this stuff was out on the curb and I almost lost it. And this is like all I have to my name. And it wasn't much, but it's my stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so, the mental health element is extremely important. And I don't like how sometimes it like just gets brushed past. I never want to be an organization that says, okay, you can't pay your rent. We'll pay your rent this month and bye.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Next month you're going to be upside down
The
and
same struggle.
we
Yeah.
didn't fix the problem. And besides, giving you a place to live or paying your rent for a month, what emotionally are you feeling that you're probably not talking to anybody about and not able to release that's then going to follow you? That's just toxic energy that's building up in your body. So I can definitely relate to all of that. But besides mental health, then classes and actually teaching, these are the steps, this is what you need to do. I want to set you up so that you're not going to be here again, and if you are, then you know how to navigate it, but you know how to stay out of being here. This
Mhm.
is just things that no matter how much you make are going to work. It's the same process, it's the same steps. And then just the immediate emergency resources that people need. I know what it feels like to be out on the curb with your stuff in front of you. I know what it feels like to have your storage unit of furniture auctioned and you're like, but I couldn't pay it because I was trying to survive.
Yeah.
So, but all my stuff is gone. Like how
Yeah.
dramatic is that? I know what
Yeah.
that feels like. And so I want to try to create programs and resources where when you're trying to stabilize yourself and your mental health and get back on your feet, your stuff is the last thing on your mind. And so I want to kind of make that like a non-factor from you. And then some of the ways that you can get into debt and that people can actually put you deeper in debt, kind of stop that just through education.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. I'm going to shift a little bit to what you do in your, I'm going to call it your 9 to 5, but
Yeah,
your tax practice.
sure.
And I know you have a newsletter you're going to start out coming up at
Mhm.
the beginning of the year that helps everybody understand. I'm not even going to use the term new tax laws that are coming out. So let's talk about that and let people know how they can subscribe to that.
Sure. So Tax Shell is my baby. It is my first love. I had no idea that, like I said, when I was creating all these businesses, I created my real estate company in college. I was like 20 years old. I had no idea that all of the tools and things that I was learning were later going to equate that I actually can become a financial advisor and a tax expert and, all of these different things. I was just learning them to run my business.
Okay.
Oh, with Tax Shell, we primarily focus on tax resolution,
Okay.
which, if you receive a letter that the IRS is going to seize your property or there's a levy against your property, that person that you need to call immediately, that's my biggest thing that makes me upset is don't call me when they said they're coming tomorrow. Like you should have called me 3 months ago when they gave you the first notice. Like I know it's intimidating. I know you don't want to open the mail. I know you're putting your head up in the sand, but don't do that because they will shut down your bank account.
And I
But
want to hide and I don't want to know anything about
right.
it. Maybe it'll go away and all those
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, no, I can get them to stop and cease action sooner, the sooner I contact them. So, but I'm really good at handling that. I got credentialed with the IRS, which still blows my mind, but I am the biggest tax nerd that you'll ever meet. This year, even though no one was excited about things going on in the government and tax law changes, I took a 10-day course on learning everything that I need to learn. I've been in so many different webinars and seminars, like I'm eating it up. And so I think that it is absolutely fascinating because 90% of tax law tells you how to save money.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
this is what I like to teach. And I like to teach and encourage the mind of people. So I always tell individuals, it doesn't matter who prepares your tax return. Go to TurboTax, H&R Block, whoever you want to go to. It's the work that you can work with me and do. It's the tax planning that we do outside of tax season that gets the numbers to meet your expectations, depending on, and you have a choice. There's a lot of people that don't realize that you have a choice. If you don't want to owe, you don't have to. If you want a refund, which you don't want a refund unless
You
it's
don't
the
want a
free
big
money.
refund. Yes.
Yeah, but I can get you a refund. Or if
Yes.
you want to, but it's the work that's done behind the scenes. And so We are first a tax resolution firm, but there's also some tax prep in there, lots of tax planning because that is my favorite topic. And I've also branched out to do some accounting and some investment advice and some retirement planning as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop just to have somebody to talk to go through to figure out what your options are mainly. There's a lot of people that don't know what their options are. And when you go, like if you walk into your bank and you're trying to start a retirement fund or you're trying to, they're selling. They want you to open an account. They're kind of telling you what you want to hear, but they're not telling you how much they're going to make, and they're not telling you your different options. They're trying to gauge what your tolerance is and how much they're going to make. Not all of them, but most of them. And they're speaking in this jargon that you don't understand.
Yes.
And my dyslexia, because the way I learn is different, has allowed me to be able to explain those complexities in like just plain language. Where I mean, you're gonna come out thinking that you got credentialed with the IRS after talking with me because, I just have a way to explain it where you're gonna get it.
I
So,
like that what you said, like, because I think people don't realize they have a choice when it comes to
mhm,
taxes. Like,
mhm,
especially W-2 employees, they get their taxes taken out before they ever get their check. And then I had one friend who said, I don't have any deductions so that I make sure I get a big fat return at the end of the year. I was like, okay, point it out. You're giving the government an interest-free loan
right,
for a year. You
right,
like, okay.
right,
And I
right.
think when people hear that, they're like, oh, nobody's giving me an
Yeah.
interest-free loan. No, they're not.
Yeah, let's
So
do it a different way. Let's send it and let it earn your own interest and then, just pay them the bottom line what they need. And then you would have made money on the money that was sitting over there for 12 months. I'm right with you. And yeah,
exactly,
yeah. You
exactly.
do not want a refund unless it's free money, unless it is a refundable tax credit. Other than that, and honestly, now these tax credits, I mean, the threshold is so low. I don't know who qualifies for these credits that they're giving out anymore. I'm like,
No.
like to invest, you have to make less than $40,000. I'm like, who that makes less than $40,000 is investing in the first place unless you just don't have any debt.
So that could be, yes. Okay.
Yeah. So,
What's up? Your newsletter. You have a newsletter
mhm.
coming out for folks to subscribe to learn about
Yeah.
tech stuff, and
Yes, yes, yes.
you don't have to read the entire how many thousands of pages of text code to understand everything. You can have
Right.
Michelle distill it down for you. How can we get that?
Right. So my financial services website is taxshell.com, but a better website because we've mentioned hashtag stability, we've mentioned the book, we've mentioned my financial services firm. It's just my personal website, which is michellecampbell.com, because
Okay.
everything that I am involved in is listed. And I'm about to add all of my partnerships because I talk to everybody and I love a partnership.
Awesome.
But yes, TaxShell in January is going to release a newsletter that is going to come out weekly. And I am going to go line by line of the big, beautiful bill. That's the name of our new tax law in plain language so that you understand. Because what has just frustrated me the most is that I'll be watching the news and they say, all Social Security recipients are going to lose their coverage. And I'm like, you didn't say sentence 2 and 3 that says if. And so I'm frustrated because, even my mother included, she's running around like, do I need to get all my money out of, what are we doing? What's going on with the market? And I'm like, you know what? Stop listening to the news.
Yeah.
Stop listening to Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. Anybody that is actually credentialed or licensed, it's listed on the IRS website or and on the board website as an attorney or a CPA. Do your due diligence when you are, listening to these Facebook CPAs and make sure that they're actually licensed and wherever they live and that they maybe know something. But I just want to be able to tell people this is what it means, not for or against anybody, but this is what it means. And so these are your options that you have, meaning, like from this is what it means for your situation so that you can see it clearly and not have everybody so confused as they were in our last tax law. I mean, as a tax professional, I didn't even understand the last one for a whole year. And then when I did, I was like, this is not right at all. And
I
I
don't even
spent,
remember the last one. No, it's like
yeah,
this
well,
Everything's so like in my face right now. It's like I can't even remember what was before.
Yeah, but I've spent the whole time educating people every year, and I still get people that are like, telling me something that now you should have known because like this was like 6 years ago. Like you should have known this, but I don't know who you've talked to before. I'm glad you talked to me now. There's nothing we can do, but during
Yeah.
the summer, call me, talk to me so that we can get this figured out before December 31st. So, yes, very proud of my newsletter and just, to bring awareness and education. I feel, really, that's what everybody needs. And you would be able to subscribe directly on the website.
Okay. by MichelleCampbell.com. And
Correct.
you can find everything about tax shell, you, hashtag stability.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Bluebird, everything.
Bluebird,
Yeah.
everything right there.
All
By
my partnerships.
MichelleCampbell.com.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I think you guys subscribe to that newsletter because even if you don't, I can't believe you don't care about taxes, but even if you don't really want to get in depth, just to have a clue so that
Yeah.
when your accountant, your tax preparer, your wealth advisor says something about it, you can say, oh, I heard that before. Let me
Yeah.
look at that newsletter again. What does she say about that? Are they telling
Mm-hmm.
me the truth? We don't have to be experts in everything. We
Right.
shouldn't be experts in everything.
Mm-hmm.
But you can have a little bit of knowledge about a lot of things and then go deeper so you can at least sometimes it's just fun to be able to have a conversation with somebody because you know a little bit about that subject. So it's really,
Right. Right.
really good.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Michelle. This has been really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. It's been good conversation with
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, yes. The topics with me are endless. I mean, I talk to everybody I meet. And so I know a little bit about a million different things. And yes, I can talk to anybody, but I'm super excited about just my journey through helping others become financially literate. I feel like it is very important. I feel extremely blessed to have had my journey. I would not wish any of the trauma on my worst enemy, but I feel like I made all the mistakes so that someone else, I can hopefully prevent you from doing it. And you can learn from my mistakes and, take some of my wisdom away with you.
I 100% appreciate that and understand that. And I think a lot of people don't get that. People who have, we live things and then you want to, we live things and have our own drama and trauma
Mhm.
and we get through it. It's like for me, losing 18 properties, the dumb stuff I did with all that stuff, all that's like, I want no one else to have to go through that.
Right.
Learn from my mistake,
Uh-huh.
from Michelle's mistakes. We don't, you can make your own. You don't have to make the ones we made.
Right.
We have plenty of mistakes to go around in the world, but you don't have to make mistakes somebody else already made.
Right.
Learn from them. Okay. All right, you guys, we're going to let you go. Thank you so much. Buy Michelle.com. And it's going to be in the show notes so that I know you're busy doing something else, but go subscribe to that newsletter so that you have an idea about what's going on in our tax code. Everything's not horrible. You just got to know how to use the code. Like, this is just the rules of the game.
Right.
Okay. And now I know the rules. This is how I'm going to play. So that's how you got to look at that. And let's not politicize it at all. This is what it is. Now
Right.
figure out how to use it. Thank you so much. It's so good. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye.